So we are going to be going down that road with trucks just like that coming at us. So the road can't be too bad, at least for a while. This is the Colorado, part of the Colorado BDR. Outside of, well, we went up to Cottonwood Pass, and then we're between Cottonwood and Taylor, Colorado. Yeah, a little slimy. That's kind of could be an issue. So the bikes are, my bike is dead stock, other than this extra large windshield that you're probably looking at. So what is the bike again? Well, it's the brand new Royal Enfield Himalayan 452. It's got the 452 cubic centimeter single cylinder, dual overhead cam. Wow, look at this. 4 valves per cylinder, 1 cylinder engine. Puts out about 40 horsepower. Red line's about 8,000 RPM. About 30, I've read 30 to 32 depending on what source you quote. I'm going to go with 30 foot-pounds of torque, about 40 Newton meters. All of this goes through a fabulous 6-speed transmission. And I say fabulous because it's worked so well so far in so many different ways. I got just over 6,200 miles on the bike. Now, having said that, I'm learning a lot about the transmission, and it acts in different ways at different speeds, at different, you know, it acts different in first and second than it does in, you know, second through third, let's say, or third through fifth. And then sixth, it's not really an overdrive, but it seems, you know, you can kind of use it like such. The bike has excellent engine braking, and which is great for this kind of thing. In other words, you're going down a hill, you can put it in a lower gear and it'll hold itself back. It won't just run away. So I'm, you know, pretty happy with all of that. Yeah, a little slimy there, the road. Let's see what we got here. What else can I tell you about the engine? It's got a very broad torque band. This is real slimy. In other words, it pulls really well. I think at 3,000 RPM, she's supposed to have about 24 foot-pounds of torque. The old Himalayan, the 411 model, which I do have, that one had a max of torque of 24 foot-pounds. That's about 32 Newton meters. So there's a lot of pull, and for this kind of riding, it's excellent. It should be excellent, I think. I've only been doing off-road riding for the last 3 days on this particular motorcycle, and this is going to be the most extreme once it gets rough. Right now it's pretty smooth, but okay. Talking about the so moving along to the suspension, it's got a 21-inch front tire. I think that's really important to say. That's one of the key features of the whole front end of this thing. It's got upside down forks that are 43 millimeters, pretty stiff. When they're upside down like that, they're supposed to have less moving mass, which means they're supposed to be lighter feeling, and the bike definitely does have lighter feeling handling compared to the old one, the 411. The travel is the same as the old one. Logger operation, it says right there. About 8 inches, 7.9 is the official number. I'm going to call it 8. And that's about 200 millimeters on the front. Look at this road. Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. Well, there's that suspension working away. The rear suspension is a monoshock, and it's a linked monoshock just like the old one, but it's a Showa. By the way, the front suspension is a Showa suspension, and so is the rear suspension. Showa suspension, Showa shock, but it's linked again like the old one was, and it's about 8 inches of travel, so it's up from before. The old one was 7.1, I believe. Look at this road. little slimy there. I better keep my momentum going, huh? What's interesting about this link suspension on this one is the link does not protrude below the belly of the bike anymore like the old one did. The old one, the link did protrude down below, and I always thought that was, it never bothered me, but for a bike that you're going to do rough stuff with, you know, it's better to have the smooth bottom end there. Very good working suspension. I did knock mine up a notch, so for medium, it was medium when I got the bike, which was fabulous when we were doing, it'd been great on the pavement, nice good ride. We started doing this rough stuff, I went ahead and put it up a notch, I think yesterday, so it's a number 4 stiff, and on the stiff side. Quite a road, huh? Look at this little fire ring out there in the middle of nowhere. Beautiful Colorado, beautiful Colorado. Temperature, my bike gauge says 61 degrees right now. That's another thing, the bike has a gauge on it for temperature. So back to the components. The change ride to the rear, of course, I think it's a 140/70 or 140/80/17 on the rear for a tire. The front is a 90/90/21. The brakes, front disc is a 320 millimeter with a dual piston bi-brake caliper. The old one, the old Himalayan, had a 300 millimeter disc. This one does have much better brakes than the old one. I will give it that for sure. Well, everything about this new one is just far above the old one. The old one was a great bike. This one is far better than the old one. The rear disc is a 270 with a single piston bi-brake caliper. This has ABS front and rear, and you can switch off the rear ABS. I've got the rear switched off right now, as a matter of fact, because of this stuff. We didn't know what we were going to be running into. Look at this stuff, huh? Pretty tame so far. I don't know how many miles long this is. We'll find out as we go along here. Seat height on this bike, it's got 2 numbers for that. The seat can be high or low. I've got it in the high position right now. I might drop it down later if we get a little rougher road. The high position is about 33 inches. That's, I think it's a little over 33, 33.1 maybe. That's 845 millimeters. And then the low position is, I think it's 32.5 inches. Or maybe 32.25. It's 825 millimeters. And it's a very comfortable seat. And we'll get into that later. The bike holds, it's supposed to hold about 4.5 gallons. That's the claim number. Now I've been filling mine on the side stand, and it's got a very lean, the bike really leans when it's on the side stand. And I did run out of fuel at about 4 gallons. Well, it was 4 gallons. I ran out of fuel right at the gas station, and I put 4 gallons in it, 4.01 to fill it back up. Look at that view. Wow, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Oh, beautiful. Just absolutely gorgeous out here. Wow, look at this. Just lovely. I'm gorgeous out here. This is the kind of thing you can go visit when you get Himalayan. The weight of the bike is 430 pounds, 431, something like that, depending on what you read. And that's about 195, 196 kilograms. And that's a little lighter than the last one, something like 10 pounds lighter. Look at this stuff. Look at that view. I got to pay attention to the road. I want to look at the gorgeous view. Just fabulous out there. Wheelbase is 59.4 inches. That is, let me think about that. 1,510 millimeters, I believe. Sorry, I had to think about the old road back there. Tires on this hot rod. Oh, let's talk about ground clearance since we're out here doing this kind of thing. 9 inches, and that's up a little bit from the last one. The last one was 8.6, so that's 230 millimeters. Plenty of ground clearance. Me gusta mucho. Look at this stuff. Tires are Seats, and they were developed. Seat is I don't know if they're an Indian company, but That's the only bikes I've ever seen them on are Indian bikes. Royal Enfield is made in India. It's an Indian motorcycle, and they were developed for this particular Himalayan. And I would say so far that they are a very good tire. I've got a little over 6,000 on mine, 62. I looked down there, and most of that's highway mile, but it seems to work pretty darn well. I think I'm going to be able to go to 10,000 at least on them. If I can get at least 10,000 on them, I'll probably put it back on. If I put something else back on, it'll probably be a Dunlop Trail Max Mission or a Raid. I got to do a little research. I've had them Dunlop Trail Max Missions on my other Himalayan. I've got a couple of them on there, and they're fabulous. They're very hard. They last long. They got good grip. And they've got incredibly large lugs on the side of the tire, and that gives you, well, good side protection. And hey, look at that! Woohoo! No troubles at all. Let's see, what other numbers can I tell you about while we're talking about numbers? Oink. Hey, look at this big hole in the ground. Let's see what we got here. I love it. I just love it. Well, a little open here. Look at this. This is a mountain prairie meadow, or mountain meadow. I would call it that anyway. Got a water crossing coming up. Let's get down there and take a look at that. Hey, there's a whole herd of cows over yonder. I think we can do that. Let's take a good look at that. Not a problem. You know, I had a hamburger for lunch the other day. Wonder if they were related. Aha! We are in their home. Look at this meadow. Amazing. Very nice, very nice. Just a little bit greasy, that's all. No big deal. This is a good example of what a good suspension will do for you, right? That's another thing, and I've noticed that over the last couple days. Going through rocks, the handlebars it doesn't try to bang the bars out of your hands before. I've had other bikes where that is the case. And this seems to do that, it doesn't seem to have much of that, so that's a good thing. This is really cool. If I were wise, I'd slow down, right? A little stop for a conference there. Hey, we got a water crossing here coming up. Look at all these rocks. Good grief. It does have a skid plate, but it's made out of plastic. Now, some people say, oh, more water. Oh, I gotta watch this. Let's see the route he takes. We are going to get wet, my friends. I hope I can keep her on two wheels. That was I don't even know. That was quite a deal. I feel like a hero now. Wow. All right, his exhaust, I can see him. I watched him. His exhaust, well, you saw I watched him too. His exhaust is underwater, I think. There was a lot depth there. And then going across, I started on too high of a gear, and I had to downshift. But you know, you have to keep going. You can't let the momentum stop. Oh, that would have been a nightmare. And then I couldn't see the bottom, so I didn't know what was under there. And it was just bouncing the bike all over the place. And and you know what I was talking about with the bars having good, not a lot of you know, there's good leverage on the bars. You don't get tossed around. They don't try to fight with you. What a grin. What an absolute grin. Oh, here's another one. I wonder how deep this one is. Oh my gosh, I don't know about this. Oh, I don't know, Mark. So we just walked it. There are big rocks in there and a lot of depth. And we're afraid to ride through it because we think it'll just bounce us off the bikes. If he needs help, I'll run down there. Okay, I'm going to grab my bike and do the same. That was about the hardest part right there, we think. And then it's pretty rough after that. Okay, my turn.
Okay, just keep it as straight as you can. You're gonna need some juice. Gas.
Look how deep this is.
I know.
Holy cow.
Exhaust is out. Come on, Himmy.
These things are amazing. So those big rocks are coming up.
Yeah. Well, it's about where it widens out here that it gets. Your exhaust is about 10 inches above the water.
Okay.
And your airbox is up here.
Yep, thank God. I can't believe this.
This is awesome.
This is...
You have to give it some beans. Give it some beans. A little more. Yeah, I was wrecked by the time I got up.
I could see it. I don't know how you did it.
I'm pushing it. There you go. I don't know why I'm wearing good boots.
I'm going to go a little to the right.
Yeah, big one right in front of you.
I see it.
Easy, easy, easy.
GoPro, stop recording. So we just walked our bikes across that. Wow, what a... took about a 10-minute rest after that. We were, you know, we're both in our 60s. Whoa, what a job. What a job. During the river crossing, I lost the dead cat of a microphone, and the rest of the audio was pretty useless after this point. Wind noise pretty bad. The crossing itself was amazing. We were very cautious. You know, we were out in the middle of nowhere. We're older men. I think Mark on his own would have drove right through it. He's pretty fearless that way, but I was a little, you know, I'm new to this game. We got through. We couldn't see the bottom. It was knee-deep water. There were rocks in there that, we don't know how big they really were, but they felt like basketballs. Probably not that big. The crossing itself took a lot of energy. Mark walked his bike over by himself, then he came back and helped me, and I really appreciate his help. Really good guy that way. He's from Colorado, and he knows the ropes out there, I tell you what. We got on the other side. We've hit these roads that you're looking at right now. Did a bunch of this. Ended up making our way to a town called Tin Cup, and that was kind of an interesting place too. There's a lot of these little towns out there that are just dust roads, dirt roads, and very interesting. I'd love to go out there and spend a month and just kind of roam around and tent camp, maybe next year when it's warmer. Anyways, it's just a great time, and I really appreciate the whole bit. And the bike itself, the bikes were fabulous. They were, if I had had a larger ADV style bike, and I don't want to mention brands, but they would have been more top heavy, had more mass. They would have been harder to push, harder to deal with. We would have been more concerned about dropping them and damaging them and in the water or on any of the roads. So I really think these Himalayans just kind of do it all. They just do it all, and the fact that they are so affordable is actually one of their big benefits. They perform very well, they handle fabulously, and they cost the right price. I tell friends about my old 411. If it ever got it stuck in the middle of nowhere, I'd tie a chain on it and drag it out. It's just, of course that never happened, but anyway, great times in Colorado, great times in Colorado. Now if you all are interested in a new or used Royal Enfield Triumph Classic British bike of any type, need parts, accessories, thingamajigs, doodads, gear, gloves, boots, jackets, you name it, anything at all, get yourself over to Baxter Cycle in the mighty metropolis of Marnie, Iowa, or go to baxtercycle.com. By the way, they ship nationwide. Motorcycles too, almost most places, but give them a call and find out for sure. And get yourselves out there and ride, my friends. Get yourselves out there and ride. Hit like and subscribe if you would. Now I'm going to go put on some motorcycle gear and go for a ride. Y'all do the same. Wahoo!
I did have a hamburger for supper last night.